Hello, welcome to the Perfect Genetics Challenge, Generation 2, Episode 25. In this episode, the Sims continue to go about their lives. That's Lola working on her gardening skill. The four elder teens, that would be Denise and Daryl, are twins, and their imaginary friends made real, Riley and Byron, will be aging up to young adult and graduating before the end of the video. We'll be moving them out of this household in a future episode, probably next episode. There's Lola. She's one of the younger group of teens who's recently aged up to teen. She's got a lot of skills to learn. She's the imaginary friend of Debbie, and Lana is around somewhere. She's got the golden hair, and she is the imaginary friend of little heir, Donna. Now that's Daryl in the blue t-shirt and his imaginary friend Byron. They are upgrading some of the sprinklers to auto water. And that's Riley, the other imaginary friend. He's the imaginary friend of Denise. So those three teens, they will be aging up to young adult and preparing to move to Vice City. And that is Lana with the long blonde hair there. Lana and Lola are close to having enough gardening skill to be able to plant some of the more difficult to plant seeds. They've had a couple of trips to the greenhouse now. The minor pets and other extra things that usually spawn at the greenhouse weren't spawning. I was only getting seeds, so I checked, and the only spawners I had there were seed spawners. So since then I've added all sorts of spawners for butterflies and birds and snakes and rodents and turtles and all sorts of things. That is why when you get the greenhouse there's so many spawners on it, all the different things that can spawn. I know a lot of people delete those spawners, but for me the greenhouse is put into my games because I want to be able to send my Sims somewhere where I know they will get a good variety of things to pick up and find, and bring home and do things with. I also do sometimes send them around the world searching, but mostly I rely on the greenhouse to spawn things for my Sims to catch and collect. My greenhouse does not have spawners for metals and gems though, or fish. We've got Donna and Debbie down on the ground level of their home greenhouse. They're working on their gardening skill as well. Their imaginary friends are Lola and Lana. That's Donna, she's the heir. She'll be heading up the next generation when she ages up to young adult, which will probably happen in maybe not next episode, but maybe the episode after. Remember in the previous episode when I put 8 of the teddy bears, the Wigglesworth bears, on this floor in the nursery, and now the vampire gnomes have been converting them into vampire gnomes. Looks like we've only got 4 of the 8 little bears left now, and there's a vampire gnome there with them. And in the background, that is the youngest household member, little Oliver, playing a tug-of-war with little dog Bindi. In the previous episode, Oliver made his imaginary friend real, and here she is. That's little Poppy, and she's dutifully doing her childhood skills. Here she is learning to cook. I've turned that stove around, and I forgot about the door being there, so I just hope nobody walks in through that door while she's standing there cooking. Otherwise there could be a bit of an accident. For those of you who watched the previous episode, you'll be aware that 2 horses have joined the household, and that is Rocket Pony. The horses live on another lot with their barn, but Rocket has made his way to the house to visit his little buddy Coco the cat. Last episode, Coco went to the horse barn and introduced herself to Rocket. Don is in the kitchen making ambrosia because he needs to deliver it to work. It turns out it was so he could get a permanent raise. He, of course, is a celebrated 5-star chef, and that has meant he has achieved his lifetime wish. To make ambrosia, the Sim must choose to make a single serving. He's made a bit of a mess on that counter, but hopefully the ambrosia will be worth it. He's had this opportunity for several sim days now, but I was careful to not allow him to make it until just before he's due to go to work, because sims just love to eat ambrosia, and you require a death fish and a life fruit, and they're both very difficult to get a hold of sometimes. So I didn't want to have to make it again, especially when you can only make one single serving of it at a time. It's not available as a group serving on the menu. By the way, all that smoke that's wafting up there is from a smoking laptop. It needs repairing. And the ambrosia is done. So I quickly put it on the counter. He's very happy with it. He's celebrating, but he's got to get it on that counter and into his inventory as fast as possible. He's not hungry, I made sure of that before he started making it. I just don't want some other sim to come swooping in and snatch it off the counter and eat it before he can get it into his pocket. I've lost ambrosias before with another hungry sim deciding that they needed to eat it immediately. He's about to go to work, so he shouldn't have it in his inventory for very long. But just to make sure that he doesn't get any ideas about eating that ambrosia that he's got in his pocket, I'll get him to repair that smoking laptop, and that'll keep him busy until his ride arrives to take him to work. Well, that didn't take long. Let's hope he's sufficiently forgotten about his ambrosia that he'll leave it alone now. Meanwhile, his son-in-law, Bill, has gone down to the basement to chat with his mother-in-law, Olivia. And Olivia, of course, is the founder of this Perfect Genetics Challenge. When the little heir to Generation 3, that's Bill's little daughter, who's now a teen, Donna, when she ages up to young adult, that will be the signal for me to age Olivia and Don up to elder, and Cindy and Bill I will age up to adult, just to keep the generations separate like that. But I will leave the elders in the house until they just die. I'm not going to do anything to get rid of them. I might have to move them out into a separate house if we have too many generations that have become elders. So that's Bill and Don just gone off to work. There they are arriving at work. They're both in the culinary career. Bill's got up to level 7 now. His lifetime wish is to be a celebrated 5-star chef. There he is going in. They go into the grocery store, but the restaurant is next door, and the only entrance is through the grocery store. This is the grocery store and restaurant combo that came with Appaloosa Plains, the world. Or Pets was the expansion pack that Appaloosa Plains came with. Now, I got a bit confused earlier in the game when Don appears to have got 2 new opportunities at the same time. Got the opportunity to make ambrosia and deliver it to work, and he got another opportunity that would result in him learning how to plant the omni plant. And for some reason, I thought that making the ambrosia would give him the chance to plant the omni plant. And I was very confused about that because I'd never heard of that opportunity resulting in an omni plant. But when he delivered the ambrosia, he only got a pay rise. And so I thought I'd check. And he had another opportunity. He had to deliver 6 steaks, and that, I think they've got to be outstanding steaks, and that will result in him being able to plant the omni plant. So here he is. Having the grocery store next to the restaurant was very useful. He bought some steaks on the way home from work, and now he's planting them in the garden. So hopefully it won't take long before he's got 6 outstanding steaks that he can harvest and deliver to whoever he has to deliver them to. We'll find out. Probably in the next episode. It might take a while to get outstanding steaks. I don't usually bother with fertilizing anything in my gardens, but I thought this time I'd get him to fertilize a couple of them with some great fish and see if the ones that he fertilizes become outstanding any faster than the ones that he doesn't fertilize. And the other thing that confused me was Bill must have had 2 opportunities as well, because one of them he ran out of time on, and I thought that must have been the opportunity to deliver the outstanding Melwa grapes. But I checked, and he's still got that opportunity, so he must have had another opportunity. He must have had 2 at the same time. So the Melwa grapes that he planted last episode are still in the game, and they're still growing. We haven't picked any outstanding ones yet though. I've got Lana and Lola back working on their gardening skill. I get them to tend garden and then keep trying to see when they can plant some of their more difficult seeds. I think they're both at level 5 now or higher, might be level 5 or 6, but they cannot yet plant the special seeds or the rare seeds. They've got to get to level 7 in gardening to do that. And you need to be at level 10 to be able to plant the Omni plant, plus do a series of opportunities. Looks like Bill might have started with that series of opportunities now that he's got to deliver those outstanding Malwar grapes. But there's at least 2 of them that you have to do before you get the opportunity to plant the Omni plant. And once you get that ability to plant the Omni plant, the seeds have to be ordered through the mail. That was bugged at one point and didn't work. But I think that's been fixed now. I know I've had it a few times in the last few years and it has worked. I don't usually worry about getting the Omni plant. It's not something, I guess it's handy if your Sims are poor and they need a lot of funds, because you can grow anything on the Omni plant and then sell it. Now, Bill and Cindy, this was interesting. They decided that they would have a risky woohoo that's available if they've got a mod, 10% chance of having a baby. And I almost said, no, that's not happening. But I thought, well, 10% chance, that's a 90% chance that she won't get pregnant. So just let them go and do it and take the risk. We've taken the risk before many times and there's been no pregnancy. And I was so relieved there was no chimes at the end, so no babies coming, because this pair always have twins. One of them has had a fertility treatment. I think it might have been Cindy. And there was romance outside as well. I found Don and Olivia out the back, sitting on the grass, watching the stars together. I hope they don't get any ideas. They've had enough babies together. Little Oliver was the most recent one. You know, the founder and her heirs never like children. They always have the trait dislikes children. And it makes me wonder why they get so keen to have extra babies that they don't need to have. Next day, I decided I wanted to get Riley to work on some new skills that he doesn't have yet. And there was an empty easel outside, so I got him to start painting. And that was when I discovered little Bindi had been digging a hole. I haven't come across that for a long time. He must be getting bored. I'll leave Riley here to work on his painting. I don't know what Bindi's barking at. Obviously there's something getting his attention. I decided to go and check on the horses at their lot, and I discovered there were some wild horses visiting them. Rocket's there chatting with one of the wild horses, and here comes Patch Pony coming over to play with the ball. Doesn't look very happy. I think Patch Pony needs lots more exercise. They've got visitors now, so I'll just leave them. Doesn't look like the number of gnomes has grown significantly since last time. There's a foal there running around too. There's only 2 horses that belong here. The rest of them are all visitors. They're wild horses. When I made this for the horses, I put a fence all of the way around it, and I've added a few different gates at different times, but I have not been able to lock any of them. There is no gaps in the fence, at least none that I can find, and I've been all of the way around it several times. So we'll just have to put up with wild horses visiting and with Rocket coming down to the house occasionally to visit the cat. That day, several of the children wanted to go to other people's houses after school, and I said no to all of them. But Oliver seems to have brought a couple of friends home from school, and they appear to be a brother and sister from the Parrot family. The reason I denied people the permission to go to other people's houses after school is I want to have some birthday parties this afternoon, and there's 4 teens that are going to become young adults. And I do believe the mother of these 2 young parrots is going to be at the birthday as well. I was trying to get Oliver to play with him, the little parrot boy, forgotten his name, and it didn't seem to be happening, so we got the birthday started instead. Denise will be the first one to age up to young adult, and I brought everybody down into the birthday room in the basement as usual. But by the time Denise showed up, most of them had gone again. She just took such a long time to get here. But fortunately, the others hadn't gone far and they were able to turn around and come back fairly quickly. So I think most of the household were at the party. The Sims that I can see there are Byron, who's just walked in and is behind Denise, and Olivia is behind Denise as well. And then there is Riley, he's Denise's imaginary friend made real, and then little Poppy, she is Oliver's imaginary friend made real, and there's Oliver blowing a trumpet hard near the cake. Behind Oliver is Lola, and there's Debbie beside Lola, and Donna is there in front of Debbie. And then their mother, Cindy, is there in her nightwear. And finally, on the right, in the blue t-shirt, is Daryl, and he will be aging up next. And Denise's reward for doing so well at school was to get the new trait of natural cook. She knows a lot of recipes, so I thought that would be a good one for her. And there's Lana on the right with the long blonde pigtails. Time to eat cake. Those things that Olivia got out of the family inventory and put them all over the floor, I've started moving them up into the ceiling where the Sims can't just come and help themselves, because some of them ended up with 3 or even 4 tablets because they've been picking them up off the floor. So I only want them to have 1 of them each. I have a good supply of them upstairs for whenever new Sims arrive in the household. I might cut off the cake eating for this video at that point, because we've got 3 more birthdays to have, and that could be spending a lot of time watching Sims eat birthday cake. But that's Olivia that's just sat down on the left, and the youngest granddaughter of Olivia is there with the black hair. That's Debbie. And now it's Daryl's turn to blow out his candles. Everybody you've already been introduced to, so I suppose you know them all now. We'll just watch him blow out his candles and then start eating the cake. You might have noticed that Daryl's grandfather Don and father Bill are missing from the birthday parties. That is because they're at work. I had as many Sims there as I could get. I think they might turn up later during the imaginary friends' birthday parties, so they won't have missed cake altogether. And Daryl's reward for working so hard at school was to get the new trait of animal lover. Let's hope he enjoys that trait. And now it's time for everybody to eat Daryl's cake. I'll wait until all 4 of them have aged up before I give them any makeovers, so you'll see them wearing some rather strange clothes for a while. And now the next cake is for Denise's imaginary friend Riley. And there he is, just waiting to blow out his candles. He's got lots of Sims there helping him celebrate. There goes the candles. Oh, what he wished for. There he goes. Let's see how much he changes. And he got the disciplined trait. He didn't change much at all, did he? He just got a bit taller. So it's time to eat Riley's cake now. I bet some of those Sims have got a stuffed movement. Oh look, and Don's got home from work. So Bill must be around somewhere as well. Hopefully they get a bit of cake each, because they've had none so far. So some of these Sims are on their third piece of cake. They would have got a stuffed noodlet after the second. I'm not forcing them to eat, but I am allowing it to be available to them. So I suppose some of them are going to get fat. Oh look, there's Don and he's got a piece of cake. Excellent. He's on his first piece of cake. Bill might be coming home from work later because he's only at level 7 in the culinary career and Don is at level 10, so he might have had a shorter shift than Bill's got, because Bill's not around. I thought he would have come down here already if he was home. I'll move all of those cameras. I'll do that eventually. Put them up in the ceiling with the tablets, a few other things. Little Poppy was really close there, so I thought we'd get a picture of her. I think she's cute. I wonder what she's going to look like when she ages up. Not with a face like that, I don't think she'll be very nice. Hello, it's Byron's turn to blow out his candles. This will be the final cake for the day. He's got just about everybody in the household there helping him celebrate. And there go the candles. He's blowing out his candles now. That little girl with the grey top on and the stripy sleeves, she's one of the parrot children who came home with Oliver. That's the parrot children's mother there with the bun on the left-hand side in the blue jeans and the sort of greenish top. And Byron got the artistic trait because he did so well at school. He is now a young adult. And now it's time to eat Byron's cake. More cake, wow. As Don, he can possibly get a second slice. Looks like the table needs clearing again, although there's not much on it. Oh, and here comes Denise with her slice of cake. Don's walking away without a piece of cake. Lola. Not all getting cake today, but there's a few of them up on their fourth slice. Now, all 4 of the newly aged up young adults will be heading to their new home in Vice City in the next episode. I've not given any of them a makeover yet. We'll see that in the next episode. So that's it for the birthday celebrations now. We'll leave them to eat their cake in peace and move on. I think seeing 4 lots of cake being eaten in one episode might be a bit much for all of us. Hey, Don's gone back down there looking for cake. He didn't get any, there's none left. Cindy had been sitting, relaxing in that rocking chair when she suddenly stood up, and I thought, that's suspicious. So I started videoing just as she stood up, and she stood there, and then suddenly she spun into her pregnancy outfit. Oh dear, we're going to have some more twins. They always have twins, that pair. And after delivering the exciting news, she suddenly sat back down in the rocking chair and continued rocking peacefully. Graduation day has arrived. That came quickly. It's on a Sunday. I thought they didn't do graduations on Sundays, but apparently they do now. Well, at least they're doing this one on a Sunday. I don't think we'll watch the whole thing. We'll just see everybody turning up in their Sunday best and then hopefully catch the 4 graduates as they come out and toss their diplomas up in the air. Somehow I lost track of Byron and I was wondering where he was. Here they are all together, ready to run into the hall. And after a while, Byron emerged with his diploma in his hand. So he must have gone in before anybody else did, because there's only 3 of them. They're getting ready to go in now. And it turns out Byron was already in there and I didn't see him go in. So that was a bit of a surprise. I was a bit worried that he might have missed the ceremony altogether, but he didn't. He was just having an early ceremony. It took them a while, but they all did eventually manage to get themselves into the hall and attended the ceremony. We'll catch them on the way out. And there's City Hall for Appaloosa Plains, and that is where the graduation ceremony is being held. Byron emerged first and tossed his diploma in the air. I almost missed him. He came out so long before the others. But eventually everybody emerged. Yes, Don is flirting. He's got his eye on another woman there. But Olivia doesn't seem to mind. She knows he's faithful. Lola seems keen to go home. The rest of them are all there in a bunch. Donna is having a chat with Lola. And looks like Olivia's going to start entertaining by playing the guitar. That seems to be her absolute favourite activity whenever she's able to make her own choices, which is quite a lot of the time. They go the diplomas with the 3 remaining graduates who we haven't caught yet. I think Byron's already gone home. He was out so soon. I suppose they'll just all hang around there for a while, listening to the guitar music. There's Lana. I'll head off home now and see what's going on there. There's Cindy in the background, and Lola was in a hurry to come home. She was hungry, and she's decided to cook herself a fresh meal. The fridge is absolutely packed full of leftovers, and because it is the special fridge that Sims get when they get to level 10 in the culinary career, the food never goes bad in it. And they've got a second fridge which is right beside it there, the little half fridge, but it seems to have picked up the food never goes bad in it trait as well. And I can see Daryl there. He's got his cap on sideways with his graduation outfit. There's little Donna just walked in. Here comes Daryl in his graduation outfit. He's going to put the leftovers away and then clear the table. There's Donna, she's the little heir in her pink dress. I think Donna's pretty hungry too. I'll be so glad when all those flies have been gotten rid of. They're really annoying. At least Daryl's able to get rid of them for us. Lola's finished her meal, and that is, I think it's a summer gnome. It's always there. I've moved it a couple of times, but it just lives in front of the sink. And that's coconut water. It's got to dispose of it. I think the summertime magic gnome is called Gnome Brawn Brawn. Donna was hungry too, but she was smart. She just grabbed some leftovers out of the fridge and she's eating it at the table indoors in the kitchen. The summertime gnome is one of 4 magic gnomes that relate to the seasons and came with the seasons expansion pack. We've got Crackle and Knackerbells, who is the gnome for autumn or fall out in the garden, and also the springtime gnome, Bucktooth Butternut. They're scattered all over the garden and all through the house. And the gnomes for those 3 seasons have been in this household pretty much since the beginning of the game. The one gnome we're missing, and I really wish we'd get, is the winter gnome, Bow Gnome Snow Bitter Totter. Haven't got it yet. I mean, I've had it in other games, but not in this one. So this is the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. And if you did enjoy it, would you please give it a like? That'll help this channel. And anybody who has not subscribed, subscribing would be greatly appreciated. And thank you to all of you who have subscribed. So that's it for now. Bye bye for now, and happy simming.